Your favorite Aravaipa Virtual Race Director here, and I am excited to bring you the Week 5 live stream. So, as you know by now, we're going to cover a variety of different things. We're going to walk through the course that you're going to hit for this next kind of 5-week section, which will take us from mile 205 to the finish. We'll announce the winners of this past week's challenges. We'll take a look at our leaderboard, our Instagram, and we will kind of announce this final week's challenges. But first and foremost, I hope that y'all are having a great Memorial Day. I hope that you're out getting some miles in as you continue along this journey. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. And straight away, we are going to go to our leaderboard here. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. There we go. And so we have a number of finishers now, and I apologize that this signal keeps cutting in and out here, but I'm going to scroll down here. We got Mary Reed, Wayne Edgar Ramage, Andre, Rod Sinclair, Kim Marciano. All of these people passed the 255-mile mark. Shody Austin, Erica Chalmers. I mean, look at all of these people. Marco Tashueda, Nikki Bowd, sorry. Stephen Davies. Looks like there might be an error in his mileage there, but we've got 26 finishers of the event already as we go into the final week here. So the goal, if you are running in the sections as we're presenting them, is to be at mile 205. And so we have 67 people basically already at the mile 205 mark. If you're just doing them in 50-mile chunks each week, you needed to be at 200, and that puts us at 72 people. So a lot of people on track to finish this thing this week. And for those of you who aren't, you still have a week left. And as far as you get in the journey is okay too. You know, that's what it's all about, is being able to kind of meander and journey along the course at your own pace, and you get to kind of choose your own adventure. So it's awesome to see how far you all have come in this virtual journey. So that was our leaderboard. And so again, I believe the number was 26 finishers here that we have already. I'm going to pull up the live chat over here. And looks like my mom is in the live chat. Hi, Mom. And so next we are going to go ahead and take a look. I'll bring the iPad back up at our Instagram. This is one of my favorite things, getting to see everyone's photos and kind of follow along with their adventure. Looks like someone has their medal. These medals turned out incredibly well, so shout out to our team at Aravaipa Artworks for bringing this to life. Yeah, it looks like she's got a photo with her medal, and she just finished. So shout out to you, Cylin of Chaos. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but here we go. Someone out there in their race shirt, walkabout woman, out on the Pacific Crest Trail. Let's swipe through some of these photos. A lot of beautiful vegetation and forestry that we don't get down here in the desert very often. We got Tom, the triplet dad, a little group photo. Love to see that. What else do we have here? We got another group. Oh, Arizona girls. Shout out to everyone in the great state of Arizona who is participating They're over at Mount Ord, which I believe is kind of on the eastern side of the state. Getting some miles in, some beautiful views out there. It's springtime in Arizona. Stuff's starting to bloom, even as hot as it is. So, what else do we have here? I know this map. Yep, I've seen this. I've seen this route on Strava a number of times by our favorite Australian, or I shouldn't say that because my wife is Australian. Our favorite Greater Sydney area resident, Jem Rooney. So shout out to Jem for participating and continuing on his adventure. What else do we have here? We got some wood shots from Sarah L. Foreman. And then Christy with the beautiful lake and mountain view. So again, if you want to share your journey with us, again, this is one of my favorite parts, is getting to check into the Instagram feed. Just post on Instagram, tag at Aravaipa Virtual, and make sure you use the hashtag Cocodona Virtual Experience, and we will be able to pull up your Instagram post so that we can kind of share your journey with the people. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to get into this week's kind of course segment, which will be our last kind of course segment. So this stretch will bring us from mile 205 at the Cinder Pit Aid Station all the way to the finish line in downtown Flagstaff. So we're going to go ahead and play this flyover, and I will kind of walk you through this course. There we go. And so you can see the finish there. And there we are at mile 205 at Cinder Pit, hopping straight onto this kind of flattish fire road. This next section here is about 14 miles in between aid. And spending a bit of time on some like old fire road, Forest Service road before you get into this kind of climbing single track here. Again, you can tell that you're going uphill here, but it's not anything like what participants have seen in the past. And now they're starting to roll down here again through the Ponderosa Pines, and now they're really starting to get into kind of this dense forest. And so I'm going to pause it here. You can see just how much the kind of the terrain has changed from being in more of like an open cut on the Coconino Plateau to being in this really dense pine forest. And so this was actually, I don't know if we're quite to the stretch, but this kind of upcoming stretch here, as you see Fort Tuthill off in the distance, was one of my like favorite parts of the live stream, because it was actually one of the places that we got probably the cleanest footage from our volunteer filmers, where we had like very crisp, like 4K footage of Michael Versteeg as he came into the Fort Tuthill aid station. But just seeing the beauty of that trail was incredible. It was just this like really nice, buttery and groomed single track that just meandered through this like dense pine forest. So this was a really cool stretch, and we'll kind of keep moving along here as we come up to the Fort Tuthill aid station, which you can see right there. And so this aid station, I'm going to pause it here for just a minute. This aid station was really cool because you had Squirrel's Nut Butter was set up on the outside of the aid station, so they were doing a great job of helping it man the aid station and volunteer and things like that. So, you know, they were there to provide a little bit of extra recovery and to help runners out when they got there. But this was another opportunity for runners to get like an indoor sleeping area. So a lot of runners would have hit the Coconino Plateau in this section at night. And so their options for sleep, like back at the Cinder Pit aid station, would have been outside in cots and whatnot. Whereas when they got to Fort Tuthill, they were able to go inside, get a little reprieve from the elements. And one of the things that made this race so interesting was when runners started, that first 50K stretch was super hot, and even just, you know, 50 miles ago when they were down at Sedona, there was a really hot stretch where they were wanting to get indoor sleep with air conditioning. And then you get up onto the Coconino Plateau, and you might have nighttime temperatures as low as like the mid to upper 30s or the low 40s. So it could get pretty cold up there at night. So a lot of runners were able to get inside, get some reprieve if they came through at night, which was just a really cool thing to see. And so this is also kind of the first time since Sedona where runners kind of feel like they're, the term I use is like back in civilization, even though they're quite a ways away from like downtown Flagstaff. Like this feels like a non-remote aid station. And so I think this was a spot where runners started to feel like, okay, I can really do this, and I can kind of smell the finish. So we're going to keep going here as runners leave Fort Tuthill. Again, back on a kind of meandering single track, going to cross the road and make their way towards Walnut Canyon. And so you can see, again, through here, just real dense pine forests as they continue to journey towards Walnut Canyon. And they actually, as they start to get closer to Walnut Canyon, they're going to hop on the Arizona Trail, which is just one of the most iconic trails in the state of Arizona and is really cool. So, and you can see starting to get down into the Walnut Canyon area. And as runners come down into Walnut Canyon, you can see the canyon a little bit better now that I have it paused here. They actually kind of get dropped in near Fisher Point, which was just a little bit back, and it kind of overlooks these canyon areas, which is one of my favorite like kind of viewpoints in like the greater Flagstaff area, because you just get this beautiful view of this long canyon with you can see in the photo here with basically big ponderosa pines that line even up the canyon walls. So, and then you can see as they get kind of further into the canyon, they got a steep climb out, and then they just run along the rim here for quite a while before they start making their way away from the rim and towards the Walnut Canyon aid station here. Again, this is a fairly long stretch. I believe the Walnut Canyon aid station, which you can see here, and I'm going to pause for just a second. The Walnut Canyon aid station, I believe, is at mile 235-ish. I could be off by a mile or two there. And so you can see that was another 15-ish mile stretch. So from Cinder Pit, they had about 14 miles, and then 14 miles to Fort Tuthill, and then from Fort Tuthill they had another 15-mile stretch. In both of those sections, they weren't like super climby compared to earlier stretches in the race, but they definitely weren't like pancake flat by any means. So it was still, a fairly long stretch. The big benefit is, runners weren't out in the heat, so they weren't at as high of a risk of like running out of water in this long stretch like they were early in the race when they were kind of in that first 50K still. And so you can see coming into the Walnut Canyon aid station right there. And then runners, as they leave, going to hop on a fire road, and I believe they are still on the Arizona Trail here. A bunch of switchbacks there, but now they're out on the outskirts of Flagstaff, starting to make their way towards the iconic Mount Eldon, which runners would be able to see. You can see the cinder cones right there. Runners, right here, I believe, is Highway 89. And so this whole stretch up to this point, runners could see those little cinder cones, but they could see Mount Eldon off in the distance. And I can imagine that was both exciting and daunting for most runners. I remember Pete Mortimer at one point was looking forward to Mount Eldon because he's a Flagstaff native, so he knew if he could get there that up and down Eldon for him was going to be super easy, but I can't imagine that this upcoming climb was weighing positively in most people's minds when they had 240 miles on their legs already. So runners go, I believe they went under this road. They may have just crossed it. I'm not 100% sure, but there was a tunnel. Yep. And so you can see they're approaching Eldon, and here they start to hit the Eldon Lookout climb, and you can see right here, you can see the Eldon aid station in the backdrop there, but you can see that runners don't actually summit Mount Eldon. So as they approach the summit, they're actually going to kind of stay off on this kind of this face of the mountain here on the Sunset Trail. So, but this section right here, I believe, was right around a 2-mile climb, and it had, I think, right around 2,000 feet of gain. So to me, that's just mind-blowing when you have, 245 miles on your legs at the bottom to have such a steep climb like that. And then as we get to the aid station here, this was actually one of the coolest moments on the course for us, I think, our team. So we got footage of Michael Versteeg coming up Mount Eldon. We got footage of Pete Mortimer coming up. But what was cool was, you have beautiful views when you get up there. But Pete Mortimer actually came back after finishing to volunteer at the aid station. So he helped cook up some food up there. We saw Rob Krar up here, a local Flagstaff and ultra running legend. So this was just a really cool aid station, and I think that from what I've heard from people who were up there during the race is once people got to the top of Mount Eldon, they were experiencing a lot of joy. You've got these beautiful views, but you also have essentially an all downhill finish from here, which after running, I think this is at mile 247. I don't know that an all downhill finish seems like all that enticing to me. I can only imagine what my legs would feel like at that point, but I think most people were just ready to kind of grind downhill and not have to climb much more. So and you can see some of these beautiful views that the runners would have from Mount Eldon here. And as they leave the aid station, we actually took them down on this Forest Service fire road here. We weren't able to use some of the single tracks that ran down the mountain due to, I believe, some more owls, so some more wildlife. But as they get down this kind of screaming descent, which in the runner guide, I believe the race director, Steve, said this was an opportunity to really open up your legs. And then he kind of laughed about that because no one's going to be opening up their legs at this point. So, but once you do get kind of almost down the entire mountain, runners were able to then hop on to, I believe, the Oldham Trail, Upper Oldham, I believe. And that is the single track that eventually kind of takes them right through this dense forest and over to the iconic Buffalo Park, which you can see right here. So this is one of my favorite just overall places in Central Flag, or in the greater Flagstaff area. It's this let me roll it forward just a little bit there, and I missed it. But it's basically like a massive 5K loop that's flat and overlooks the mountains. As you come out of Buffalo Park, runners do take some single track over until they hit this road section, which is kind of right where we are here. So they are on, I believe, Forest right now, and they're going to hang a left-hand turn down Beaver, and there you can see it, and I stopped at basically the worst time possible here. They make a left-hand turn, and they've got 2 blocks to the finish. And what a sight it was being at the finish. I was able to be there for some of the runners, and we are back in the studio cam. I was able to be there for on Instagram Live for some of the final runners coming in, and it was amazing getting to kind of come down Beaver Street with the runners for the last half mile. You make that left-hand turn, and you can hear and feel the energy at the finish line that's just 2 blocks away. And as soon as you make that right-hand turn into this alley, you can see the finish line shoot. You can see your family and friends there cheering and all your loved ones. And it was amazing to get to see a lot of these runners, cross the line, get hugs from their family and their significant others, and then get a big hug from Steve, the race director, and get the belt buckle that they earned. And so that was how long would that stretch have been from mile 205 to the finish? About 50 to 52 miles, roughly. I believe the race course on the tracker actually showed 257 miles. And I believe that the initial one showed 255. So I think there were just some reroutes and some changes there. But that last section of the course, especially from Fort Tudhill into downtown Flag, was incredible to follow along as people kind of made their journey forward. But that kind of wraps up, our journey through the course. I know you all still have a week to get this done, and I'm excited to continue to follow along. But before I let you go today, we are going to announce last week's challenge winners. And then we are going to announce this last week's challenges. And then we will have a post-event live stream next week as well. So I will shoot out an email with the exact time that we'll have the live stream. But I just want to finalize some tech details on that end. But it'll kind of be the same thing, just a short celebration of everything you've accomplished. But let's go ahead and announce the challenge winners for last week. So first off, we are actually going to come back to the iPad. Let me just get this pulled up here real quick, because here we go. All right, there we go. So for anyone who ran 44 miles or more, you were told to click on this post and put your weekly mileage in the description or in the comments there, and you would be entered for a chance to win an Aravaipa merch pack or a swag pack. So we are going to just select one at random here, and our winner is Walkabout Woman, squeezed in 46.2 miles this week. So shout out to you. I will make sure that we reach out to you and get your information so that we can send you that swag pack. And now I'm going to bring it back to the studio cam for the final time. The challenge winner last week. So last week's challenge was the most amount of time run in 1 week. And so we had a lot of really good entrants. We had people putting in 15 hours and 18 hours and 19 hours and 20 hours. And I was amazed as I went through my email and saw all of these come in at how many people just absolutely crushed it. But we had one person who went above and beyond everyone else, and that was Sean Gibson, who ran 30 hours. 30 hours in 47 minutes. I want to say that his mileage total was like 145 miles for the week. That was absolutely insane. So he is our winner, and he is actually going to win a free entry into our Summertime Binge virtual race, which registration for that will open tomorrow at 4 p.m. Arizona time, and that is a 10-day fixed-time virtual event. So we offer a 6-hour, 12-hour, 24-hour, and then we will also be offering a 3-day, 7-day, 10-day virtual event where you just get as much mileage in during that time frame as you can. In addition to those things, we also have something new this year, which is a Kids Binge event, which is a 3-day, 7-day, 10-day event for those who are 15 and under, and they'll have special youth-size shirts and medals for that as well. So I'm trying to make Summertime Binge a family affair, and definitely be on the lookout for that because it's going to be a really good time. And again, that registration opens tomorrow at 4 p.m. And shout out to Sean Gibson for running almost 31 hours last week. That is just nuts. So Now, the moment everyone has been waiting for, I'm sure, this final week's challenges. And so this final week, again, we'll have our raffle. So we will have this video posted in Instagram, again, just like the last few weeks have been. And you just need to comment your weekly mileage in the comments below. And for this week, because this is going to be a celebration of everything that everyone's accomplished, anyone who participates is entered into a raffle. It doesn't matter if you get 1 mile or if you get 100 miles. Everyone who gets some miles in this week and comments on the Aravaipa Virtual page will be entered into a raffle for an Aravaipa merch pack. And then our challenge for this final week is the most vertical gain in one single run. So again, it ties in directly to the race course where runners have to summit Mount Eldon, just a mere 8 miles from the finish, which is pretty sadistic if you ask me. But tying into that, we're going to have the most vertical gain in one run. So in order to participate, all you need to do is send me a screenshot of your activity. So it can be on Strava, it can be on Garmin, it can be a treadmill photo. Email that to me at matt@aravaiparunning.com. And in the email, make sure that you just type out how much vertical gain you got in your run. And the winner of that challenge will receive a free entry into our Limitless Vertical Challenge, which the registration for that is currently open, but that's a 10-day vertical challenge running from June 25th. June 25th to July 4th. Sorry about that. I had to double check the dates there. But yeah, we're going to be ending that on July 4th as a celebration there. So if you get the most vertical gain in one run, you will receive a free entry into that race. So that is going to do it for today's show. Actually, before I leave, I do just want to pull up the chat here again. Beverly O'Neill, will we get a week 5 email challenge? Beverly, if you didn't get the challenge email, just shoot me an email, matt@aravaiparunning.com, and I will email that to you. Everyone should have received that. I sent that out last night at about 10 p.m., so if you didn't, again, just reach out and let me know. And Beverly, are you Walkabout Woman? Did you just win? I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you did, let me know, and shout out to you because that was amazing, and I'm super proud of you. But yeah, that is going to do it for this week's live stream. Again, we will have one last live stream next week where we announce our final week's challenge and raffle winners. We take a look at our kind of final leaderboard and all the good stuff like that. And I will send you all out a very short email sometime this week announcing when that is. And it will also be posted on our Instagram as well. So Aravaipa Virtual Instagram channel. And yes, Beverly O'Neill, she was our winner. So shout out to you, Miss Beverly. Congratulations, and I'll be reaching out to you to make sure we can get you your swag bag, your merch pack here. So, thank you all for joining us this week. I hope that you continue to grind on this journey. I hope that you're still having a good time, and I'm excited to follow along as more and more people approach the finish line of this incredible adventure. So, that is going to do it for today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.